Time to put the pedal to the metal. Chapter Summary, FastLane Distinctions. The leading cause of poorness is poor choices. The steering wheel of your life is your choices. You are exactly where you chose to be. Success is hundreds of choices that form process. Process forms lifestyle. Choice is the most powerful control you have in your life. Treasonous choices forever impact your life negatively. Your choices have significant horsepower or trajectory into the future. The younger you are, the more potent your choices are and the more horsepower you possess. Over time, horsepower erodes as the consequences of old choices are thick and hard to bend. 24. Wipe your windshield clean. Until we see what we are, we cannot take steps to become what we should be. Charlotte P. Gilman. Wipe your windshield clean. While pumping gas into my Lamborghini, a teenager once asked me if he could snap some pictures.
Sure, go ahead.
I replied. After a few various rants and raves about the car, he exclaimed, "I gotta get as many pictures as possible 'cause I'll never be able to afford one of these." Do you see a problem in that conclusion? This young man made a choice to believe he would never own a Lamborghini. He couldn't see beyond his own windshield. Is this a small choice? A treasonous choice? A choice of significant horsepower? This seemingly innocent choice of perception has the excruciating horsepower of treason. It is a crippler of dreams. The teen's choice of perception was poor, and because of it, it would forever lead him to mediocre results. His jury had already deliberated, and the verdict was in: an extravagant car would be always out of his league, and therefore, his choices would reflect that mindset. Unfortunately, he didn't understand the debilitating effect of being clouded to our own self-constructed windshield into the world. The choice of perception. In the last chapter, we discussed choices and their impact on your life. Thus far it's been all about choices of action, physical actions that produce consequences. However, if you look deeper, what causes those actions? What motivates you to act and choose? We have two types of choices. 1. Choices of perception, thought patterns. 2. Choices of action, choosing to read. Choices of perception serve as the impetus to choices of action. If you believe and perceive a certain idea, you are likely to act in accordance with that belief. The difference between the teen at the gas station and me was this: when I witnessed my first Lamborghini as a kid, I thought, someday, I'm gonna own one of those. My choice of perception was strong and further manifested into choices of action that reflected that perception. You see, you choose to interpret events in your particular frame of reference. Your mind labels and categorizes events that surround you. For example, when someone says dog, you might see a black Labrador, while other people see a poodle. When you see a mansion on the beach, do you think lucky, or I'll never own something like that? The first step in making better choices starts with your choice of perception, because your actions evolve from those perceptions. If you lose your job, you can frame it as a negative or a positive. When you're caught speeding, you can be angry or thankful. The choice of perception and its choices start right between your ears and drive themselves into choices of action. Your perception is not the reality. A few years ago, my girlfriend and I were at friend's home for a party. We sat at a small table and noticed an overly exuberant gentleman moving from table to table talking to people. He looked like he was canvassing the room as if he was selling something. He eventually got to our table and unleashed the uncouth, "Hey, how would you like to earn $10,000 per month?" The question was inappropriate for the party, so I decided to respond with equal inappropriateness. I asked, $10,000 a month? Really? Thinking I was hooked, he tried to sell me a network marketing opportunity for some herbal supplement. I interrupted him and laughed. "Listen, I make $10,000 every 2 days, so for me your opportunity would be a 90% pay cut. Do you think I'm interested?" His eyes popped out of their sockets, and after he picked them off the table, he scampered away like a rat without his cheese. In this brief exchange, this man made an assumption: $10,000 a month is a lot of money. It isn't. Money is infinite. FastLane opportunists can drive opportunities that yield 6 and 7 figures monthly. The difference is perception. I remember the day when I thought $10,000 was a lot of money. It was perception and not reality. Earning $1 million in 1 month is possible if you make the right choices and drive the right FastLane roads. This perception leads to better choices of action. That guy at the party? He chose a crowded road. Instead of creating a multi-level marketing company, he joined one. Instead of serving the masses through Effect Ion, he joined the masses. Wiping the windshield clean starts with language. You can expose your mindset by examining the words in your language and your thoughts. Take for example this comment made on the FastLane forum. I got engaged last Friday. I had been struggling with this for some time, but decided to give marriage one more try. She's a great girl and deserves the best, and I think I can give it to her. When you read this statement, do you see assured success or pending failure? While I wish the man the best marriage, I see flaccid words that lack confidence. Try, I think. This language spells trouble. What would have convinced me otherwise? I got engaged last Friday. I had been struggling with this for some time, but I decided to get married for the last time. She's a great girl and deserves the best, and I will give it to her. Notice the difference. One is flimsy and the other is firm. Both might seem to say the same thing, but one implies possible failure while the other implies committed success. Your internal language carries weight. If a brain surgeon told you before surgery, "I think I can operate on you and I will try to succeed," you should freak out and trade in your hospital gown for some eternal nighties. Altering your words and thought perceptions are akin to wiping your windshield clean and seeing beyond your own sphere of sight. How do you manage your choice of perception? What language do you use in your mind? I never. I can't. If only, or do you choose better words? It's possible. I'll overcome. I will. I can. If your world is canvassed with words like never and a can't, guess what? It's true, you can't and you never will. Is it possible to earn $1 million in 1 month? Sure it is, just ask the guy who does it. What makes his windshield different from yours? Good choices of perception translate into good choices of action. To change your perception is to change your future actions. The goal of this book is to change your perception about wealth and money. Believe that retirement at any age is possible. Believe that old age is not a prerequisite to wealth. Believe that a job is just as risky as a business. Believe that the stock market isn't a guaranteed path to riches. Believe that you can be retired just a few years from today. So how do you upload new beliefs and overwrite the old ones? Find the information, resources, and the people that align with the new beliefs. For myself, I pursued the stories of those who acquired wealth fast and soon learned that to get rich quick wasn't a myth. I never found that 19-year-old who got rich piling money into mutual funds. However, I did find 24-year-old millionaire inventors, business founders, authors, and website owners. If you want extraordinary results, you're going to need extraordinary thinking. Unfortunately, extraordinary is not found trapped in society's gravity of thinking and the beliefs that fuel them. Steering tips, better choices and a better life. As your journey progresses, respect yourself and ask, is this a good choice of perception? A good choice of action? Is this going to be treasonous to my dreams and cloud my windshield to a better life? Have I chosen to be a victim or a victor? Have I chosen to surrender or accept the challenge? Changing your life starts with changing choices. The FastLane vehicle to wealth is driven on choice, not asphalt. You start making better choices using 2 strategies dependent on the decision's gravity. 1. Worst-case consequence analysis (WCCA). 2. Weighted average decision matrix (WADM). WCCA is designed to steer you away from perilous detours and treasonous choices. Conversely, WADM is designed to help you make better big decisions with multiple contingencies. This dual-pronged attack works on the choice extremes, a prevention of disastrous choices and a facilitator of good choices. Worst-case consequence analysis (WCCA). The first decision tool is worst-case consequence analysis (WCCA), which requires you to become forward-thinking and an analyzer of potential consequences. WCCA asks you to answer 3 questions about every decision of consequence. 1. What is the worst-case consequence of this choice? 2. What is the probability of this outcome? 3. Is this an acceptable risk? While these 3 questions might seem lengthy, your analysis process shouldn't take longer than a few seconds. You don't need a pen or paper, just your head and a conscious choice of perception. When choices are analyzed using WCCA, potential disasters are exposed and alternatives can be chosen. Unnecessary roads of treason can be bypassed. I use WCCA extensively. For example, several years ago, after several drinks at a local bar, I went home with a woman who was making the moves and wanted to get busy. She pulled the old Harlequin whisper, "Make love to me." Of course, having known her for all of 2 hours, I knew this wasn't love but something else. Behind my drunken passion, I ran through my WCCA analysis. What is the worst-case outcome of this choice? 1. I could get a sexually transmitted disease. 2. I could get her pregnant and be locked to this person for the rest of my life. 3. I could be falsely accused of rape. What is the probability of these outcomes? 1. STD, 10%, based on her outward promiscuity. 2. Pregnancy, 1%. 3. Falsely accused, 0.5%. Is this an acceptable risk? Immediately reasunatel no. The 10% or the 1%? I reasoned the risk was too great and that risk had outcomes that could change my life forever. I denied the woman's advances and hid my lust in favor of a better choice. What if I hadn't? Sure, I would have enjoyed a quick romp of fun, but what about afterward? Would I be put in a position of an unplanned pregnancy with a woman I didn't know? Would I be condemned with a disease that would jeopardize my health and limit my search for a future partner? The potential consequences of this action had profound treasonous trajectories that I avoided. WCCA comes into play when I drive. Viper, Lamborghini, doesn't matter, other idiot drivers looking for a street race constantly berate me. Sure, I might hit the accelerator hard for 3 seconds, but in those 3 seconds, WCCA takes over. What's the worst that could happen? I could kill myself and someone else. Odds? 3%? Knowing my racing competency, the risks are dangerously high. I release the accelerator and don't engage. The other driver? He speeds away with something to prove and in disregard to the potential outcomes. That's okay, maybe there's a reason he's driving a 10-year-old Fartkin Honda and I'm in the Lamborghini. Win the street race, I'll win life. The weighted average decision matrix, WADM. Ever wrestle with a tough decision? One day you favor option A and the next day you flounder back to option B. Wouldn't it be great if making a tough decision were as simple as picking the higher number? The second decision tool I use compares and quantifies big decisions. You know them. Should you move or stay? Quit or continue? Go back to college or not? For WADM, you need paper and a pencil. Or alternatively, you can visit helpmydecision.com and let the web work the calculation for you. Keep in mind, WADM is for big decisions, so you might use this a few times a year whereas WCCA can be used daily.